Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Hello and welcome to the City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Andy Radig, and joined today by your City Manager for the City of Oshkosh, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right, well, we've got a lot to talk about today. I will be starting the show off talking about some municipal news updates, what's going on in the community here, and then we will come back after a break and talk about some agenda highlights from the Tuesday, July 28th Common Council meeting. And we'll start off today, Mark. Since the last time that we spoke, one of the changes is City Hall has reopened.
Yeah, we made the decision to reopen to the public, and so far, so good. The reception has been very good. It's a little different looking when you come into City Hall. We've put in some measures, number one, to protect the public, as well as protect our employees. We have a little reception desk that we didn't have before, and the idea is that when you come to City Hall, you want to be able to, conduct your business as quickly as possible. Right. And so with this, the receptionist, the purpose of that person is to make sure that you're getting to the right place, so you're not, needlessly wandering around the building looking for that. In the past you were kind of on your own, but with this, we want to make sure people are here for as short a time as possible. So we have all the appropriate things, the signs that ask you to practice social distancing. We've got hand sanitizers and just all those things to make sure that you're being safe, and we're going to promote that. And of course, all the reminders, the foot pads and everything to keep people 6 feet apart and whatnot. But we know that that's important to protect everybody. And we have a lot of things coming up, some of which we're going to talk about later on. But between tax collection, the last phase of tax collections coming up the last week of July, there's ongoing bill payments. And some people like to pay their bills in person. They don't have to, but if they want to continue doing that. And then there's other things that you might want to conduct business with. We still have all of those online options available. So I think we have on our website, there's a place right at the top of our website that says online services.
That's right.
And you can look at that and just click, and it's a list of all these services that you can access online to get that information. You don't have to come to City Hall to do some of these things. If you choose to, we'll welcome you back. Not necessarily open arms, because we're not doing that these days, but we will absolutely welcome you back. And we want people to be aware of those things. So that's what we're up to.
And there's also a drop box in front of City Hall that people don't even need to enter if they don't feel comfortable.
If you're dropping off a bill, bill payment type of thing, use the drop box. If there's anything related to the upcoming election, you want to drop off your ballot, those are things you can drop in there. And we actually have a stack of envelopes for you to put something in so that you can make it easier on yourself as well.
Okay. People might have the question, is a mask required for entering City Hall?
Well, that's a great question. We are absolutely encouraging people to wear masks. We are not requiring it, but we certainly recognize that when you're wearing a mask, you're sending a message that you're thinking about the other people that you want to help protect them, and you're making that sign. You're going to see city employees in City Hall wearing masks. We are requiring that. Some facial covering, so that you can conduct business, and we want to respect that. If the employees are doing that, we're asking you to extend that courtesy as well. So we're hoping that people will cooperate. We understand, for whatever reason, if you can't for health reasons or some other reason, we understand that, but we want to encourage it as much as possible. And so far, Andy, we've had really good compliance with that. A couple people have chosen not to. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the fact that 90 to 100% of people visiting City Hall are wearing masks, and we really appreciate that.
Okay. Well, thanks for that update, Mark. the Oshkosh Senior Center is having a gradual reopening in August and September, so kind of easing back into things for their folks that use their center.
Well, obviously, that's a group that does have a lot of at-risk people, either for health issues or age, things like that. So we do have to be careful about that. And we know that there's going to be some reluctance to come back, but one of the important things that the Senior Center does is it works on getting people out of the house, do things so they can function independently. So we're going to continue doing some programs, but we're focusing on outside, very small classes, if you even want to call them that. But 10 people spread out over a wide area outdoors. That's the type of thing we're looking at doing.
Okay.
We also are not allowing drop-ins. We're not going to be having card playing for a while, right, unfortunately.
Right.
But the exercise room will be open. But we're going to need people to make appointments so that we can plan for your arrival. And when you show up, you're going to know that the equipment there in that room has been sanitized before you arrive. And then we have a little gap between person leaving and somebody coming in, so we can go back, re-sanitize, so that when you come in, you know that things have been taken care of. It's not just a conveyor belt of people going in and out of the building. That wouldn't be safe. So bear with us, and we'll take care of you if you want to make use of some of the senior center's exercise equipment.
Okay. And folks can keep watching the website for the Senior Center as well as their Facebook page to keep up to date with what's happening over at the Senior Center. Mark, I guess there are two seasons of the year. There's winter and there's road construction. So that's what they say. So apparently we have a lot of projects going on, and Snell Road is one of the projects that's happening right now.
If you haven't been on the far north side of town, Snell Road, east of Jackson Street, is pretty torn up. And the idea is to make that a 4-lane road with bike lanes. It's going to be outstanding. So right now it's a little disruptive, but some residents, for example, Parkview Court remains open at all times. So if you're of course, if you live there, you know that. But if you're going somewhere in that neighborhood, that's the case. But it's pretty tough access otherwise. So please be careful, and please be on the lookout for the equipment that's out there, because we want you to be safe.
Mm-hmm. And then Oregon Street is another one.
Oregon Street is from West 21st south to 28th, West 28th, and then a little bit of West 28th. You can see that the access is still a little challenging, but for example, access to West 21st and West 25th remains open, even with all the barrels and gravel and things like that. But please be careful and be on the lookout. Some of the sidewalks are closed, so we just want people to make sure that they're going through that area carefully. If you got to hit some of the neighborhoods in that immediate area, I'd suggest, if you're going to Lake Air, use 20th. If you want to go to some of the neighborhoods that are, immediately east of Oregon, I would take South Main to that. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be safer. You can see the access to the Oshkosh Corporation defense area is pretty rough right now. So we encourage people to just be careful and be on the lookout for things.
Mm-hmm. And folks can also subscribe to updates from the Public Works Department on projects such as this and others. They can go to the city's website and subscribe for updates.
We have a regular subscription service, and we'll send you weekly updates if you'd like. But there's the part of the Public Works website. All you got to do is click that to get those updates, and you'll get a week by week in review, as well as what you can expect for the upcoming week. So, sometimes if it's rainy or something, they fall a little behind. So the updates are important to take a look at, even if you're regularly looking at the site.
Okay, some good information there. The Parks Department has recently made some parks improvements, and we're looking at one of the items is some new pay stations for the boat launches.
These are really great. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our boaters that they would like to have a cashless feature. So these are actually some solar-powered boat launch pay stations that you can use, and it's really exciting that they're there. So you see the little solar panel and a little closer up. You can still put cash in there, but a lot of people just like to swipe and go, and that's the feature that we have. We're very fortunate. We got a grant from the DNR that covered a large portion of these
50%.
costs. Yeah, 50% of it. And then the boat launch fees pay for the rest. The tax dollars aren't used for this. The boaters are very accountable and pay for this service, and we're very appreciative of them doing that. So these are great. They're over at Rainbow Park and Fugelberg Park, as well as the 24th Avenue boat launch. So you'll see them at all three boat launch locations. If we get a good reception to this, I think you're going to see that at the remaining boat launches in town. They look really good. They seem very easy to use. And we're anxious to hear the feedback from everybody to see if we want to expand this service.
Right. Okay. And then we also have over at Menomonee Park some new exercise equipment that has been installed.
Yeah, this was part of our park master plan for Menomonee Park. It's, we've got some great walking trails over there. But this is, if you want to add a little upper body exercise to your cardio workout, you can walk through, and it's got the nice pads there. You can sit and do a little upper body exercise to break up the cardio, but it's a nice feature that was identified by residents as they were putting together the master plan for Menomonee. And so this is what we put out there. There's 3 pieces of exercise equipment along the trail, and we encourage people to give it a try. And of course, with everything with COVID and everything, be careful using them and everything. Make sure you have a little hand sanitizer or something. But you can see somebody, if you look closely, you see somebody using it. So they're getting used, and it's pretty cool. And we're excited to add that feature to people's park experience.
That's awesome. Something new for folks to be able to use in the parks. That's great. Another different area here we're looking at is we have some results that have come in from the 2020 Citizens Survey, and that's available on the city's website now.
This is a survey that we've been doing since 2009. In the last few years, we've been using our Polko app for people to be able to access that. So the report's on there. The council takes a look at that report to help prioritize and help make budget decisions. It is, I believe, 90% statistically valid, so that's an important part of this. And we're doing things to improve the not just the number of people, but also the diversity of people, so that we have a good cross section of the whole community. So we're excited about that. And the survey helps us identify areas of improvement. So if you haven't participated in recent years, all you got to do is be a subscriber to Polko. So there are the instructions. Get to our website, and you can download the app for either Google Play or the App Store, and you can get it on your phone and be able to participate in the survey in subsequent years. And we have an added feature this year. Over the course of these citizen surveys, some data has been compiled into an analysis that's also posted there. Yeah, we're doing this in our 11th year. So what the Dr. Larson over at UW Oshkosh has done is taken a look at how public opinion has changed over the last 11 years of the program. So we're real excited about that. And take a look at that trend analysis as well. And then just along that same topic, that there's currently a poll that is up on Polko for a neighborhood needs survey that is currently active. So feel free to log in and participate in that survey. It's closing, I believe, this upcoming week. So you might want to hop on there and take advantage of that. And of course, if you want to take a look at any other surveys in the future, again, log on to Polko. I think the other one we're going to be on the lookout for a survey on community equity and inclusion. That's right. Going to be the next one coming up. So we're always going to be putting something out there for people to give us some input on. So we appreciate that input. Okay. And then another topic that we're looking at for absentee ballot information has been sent out, and people are able to participate in the election process without having to vote in person. So there are options available. Yeah, and what the council directed us to do was to put the request forms and mail them to every registered voter. You should have received that by now. If you haven't, give us a call. But the idea is very simple. You check a box and send it back to us, or you get on to My Vote Wisconsin and register that way. And it's really just to request an absentee ballot. Then we'll mail you one. You can either mail it back or you can drop it off at City Hall. It's very simple. We're trying to direct people away from voting in person on Election Day, or even the 2-week window of voting that we're required by law to do at City Hall. We really want to discourage that this year. And with that, we've got some information for people to share with people.
That's right. So that is available also on the elections website, on the city's website, for more details about absentee ballots. But we also have a video that we put together, just a brief public service announcement to explain more about the absentee voting process and what you need to do to vote absentee. And that will be playing here shortly.
Absentee voting is easy. Individuals must first be registered to vote, and they can then request an absentee ballot. When the city clerk's office receives the voter's information, they will process the request and send an absentee ballot and information to the voter. On the inside of the mailing are the ballot and instructions. The August 11th primary is a partisan election, so it's important that voters select a party and then vote within that party when they select their candidates. On the ballot, indicate your party preference and then vote within that party on the ballot. Votes cast in that party will be counted. Votes cast in any other party will not be counted. When finished, fold the ballot, do not sign it, put it into the envelope, and seal the envelope. On the front side of the envelope, where it's highlighted in yellow, the voter signs Section 3 and a witness signs Section 4 and fills in his or her address. Remember, envelopes without signatures will not be opened and will not be counted. The envelope can be placed into the mail. It already has postage on it. Or it can be placed into the drop box in front of City Hall at 215 Church Avenue. Please return the ballot as soon as possible so the city clerk's office can process it. If you have any questions, please call the city clerk's office at 920-236-5011 or visit www.ci.oshkosh.wi.us and click on Government and Elections.
To the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Raddick, along with your City Manager for the City of Oshkosh, Mr. Mark Roloff. Mark, it's time to look at some agenda highlights for the upcoming July 28th Common Council meeting. And we're starting off with a presentation of Rock the Block review.
Yeah, back in 2019, we worked closely with Habitat for Humanity on what they call the Rock the Block program. And it's a way to improve a lot of front yards, facades, things like that.
Sure.
And our planning staff is going to make a brief presentation about some of the things that we were able to achieve with that program and what we learned and changes we're going to make for the future. I'm excited to hear it and see the presentation. They've held back; they haven't shown me anything, so we can't show anybody today. So watch the council meeting; you'll get it.
Okay, and that's right at the beginning of the council meeting. And then we're looking at some funding. It's a WEDC grant, I understand.
Yeah, it's called Capital Catalyst. This is our third grant that we're applying for through the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And the purpose of the grant is to provide funding for businesses to acquire capital equipment. Usually it's a business that's been around for a short amount of time, and to go to the next level, they need some equipment to basically make themselves more efficient. They require a match from the local government. So we have our Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund. So what we do is we commit about $125,000 as the match for that. Our funds continue to be used for a loan. The state's money can be used for a loan or a grant, depends on the nature of the program. So it really takes our money and effectively doubles it. So it's a really great way to provide services to our business community that are really looking to expand. And right now, we're trying to help businesses every way we can.
Absolutely.
And this is a great way for them to actually expand. We're excited.
And there's still a good balance left in that account, I understand.
Yeah, there's over $1 million left even after this $125,000 is committed. So yeah, we have more loans for other purposes that may come down the road.
Okay. And then we're looking at a general development plan. Let's see here, and that's up by Jackson Street and Furnow Avenue.
This is something that's been going back and forth with the Plan Commission for I think almost 2 years now.
Okay.
Again, you said it. It's at Jackson and Furnow, but it's a personal storage facility, and I know there's some concerns about those types of facilities, especially along a corridor like this, because this is at Jackson Street. It's a gateway corridor, so the Plan Commission put some pretty high standards on this, and I know that's going to raise some eyebrows with some people, but the Plan Commission spent a lot of time to make sure that it's called Class 1 materials are used on the facade, and then you don't see it here, but they are requiring some heavy landscaping to make it look more commercial along that corridor, similar to other uses there. So some council's going to be discussing and seeing if they approve it or not.
Okay. And then we have some advanced planning that's happening for an agreement with the county for paving of Oregon Street.
It's Oregon Street, or as you get further south, it's County I.
Okay.
And the county was very collaborative with us to delay implementing their repaving of County I until we get through with our sewer project. You saw some of the progress. We're slowly making our way down to Ripple Road, and this phase will eventually end at Ripple Road, but it's with the county. So this is an agreement that we're going to work with them to make sure that project gets done, and we're excited about that.
Okay, excellent. And then I know the city likes to buy local whenever possible, and so we're looking at purchasing some refuse trucks for the sanitation division.
The fire department for a number of years has had a very successful relationship with Oshkosh Corporation, their subsidiary Pierce Manufacturing, to get not just a very good deal on fire trucks, but to negotiate a good arrangement where we get a good price, and we might even help reciprocate with, say, being able to use that for promotional purposes. They can put the Oshkosh logo on it, take it to a trade show, and it works very well. Oshkosh Corporation has approached us about doing a similar thing with our refuse trucks. So we're going to have some conversations and see if we can do it. Council needs to waive the formal bidding requirements on that, but we think it's a good relationship that we should be building with a locally headquartered manufacturer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And then we're looking at some looking at next steps on alternatives to special assessments, and this has been looked at in the past.
This has been an ongoing issue that's probably been delayed about a year. You may recall that last year Council rejected an idea to develop a fee, a transportation fee, to replace special assessments for street improvements. And that, at that time, that was based on impervious surface as the replacement for, say, any kind of traffic-based. The council formed a subcommittee or an ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee made a recommendation on a flat-based fee that we took a look at and had some concerns from a legal standpoint. Since that time, some other communities are taking a look at what's called a traffic-based fee that takes a look at traffic generation. The League of Wisconsin Municipalities has done a study and reaffirms the ability of the city to enact a transportation fee, but they also caution that you need to take a look at what it's based on. Traffic-based seems to be the best approach. So before we move forward with something like this, I think council needs information, and so I'm going to be suggesting that we go back and take a look at what a fee like that might look like, and then have a dialogue with the public, the business community. The business community was not in favor of this, the way it was promoted last year, And with things going on with the uncertainty, there's some people that have some genuine concerns about that. And that's understandable, but we know that special assessments are not well received, and we're just looking for an alternative. And I think we need to have that discussion if we want to keep moving forward, because people just don't like special assessments, and we gotta figure out if there's a better way.
Okay. And then we have an item, Mark, solutions for homelessness during COVID-19.
This issue has been picking up some identity because of two factors. Number one, COVID in so many of the places that normally would be open, say during the day for the homeless, are not available because, for example, the library is closed.
Right.
And sometimes homeless people would seek refuge there.
Okay.
And there's other locations. But we've had some issues where homeless have been camping at city parks. That's prohibited. So it's kind of creating a little issue about how do we address the issues of homelessness, but at the same time, how do we address some of the issues that we need to, keep our parks, clean and safe and whatnot. So council's going to have a discussion, and I've had some good discussions with Day by Day Warming Shelter. Even though they only operate the shelter itself in the evenings during the 6 months of fall and winter, they function year-round, and I think a lot of people need to know more about this, and we need to make people aware of what services are out there. The city has a role at the table. We aren't necessarily going to be operating a shelter, but we have a role to make sure that we're coordinating our efforts in helping with this issue. So that's where I think council is going to discuss it.
And Oshkosh Media will be working with the folks over at Day by Day to get some information out and so forth. And then we have another item talking about potential a mask ordinance or some discussion regarding masks.
Well, you're aware that at our last council meeting, Mayor Palmieri made a proclamation that encouraged the use of masks, and I think that was well received. There has been a growing groundswell of private businesses that have been requiring it, as well as other governmental entities. So I think the mayor wants to kick it up one more level and say, should we have a mask ordinance in the city?
Okay.
From my standpoint, we have to make sure that the scope of whatever requirement we would have is understood, because we could simply say all publicly owned buildings. That's one level. Is it other areas where the public can congregate? Does it include inside, or just inside, or does it include inside and outside? And there's a bunch of pros and cons to each of them. We have to take a look at those. So we'll be taking a look at those in the coming weeks. But the council needs to give us some direction if this is something they want to do. And obviously there's a lot of different opinions out there about that. So I think it's important to have that discussion and see if we want to do something.
And plus the enforcement issues and things like that.
Enforcement's a huge part of that, because I'm concerned that our police department's put in a position of writing tickets and things like that. I don't think that's appropriate. I think there needs to be another enforcement tool rather than using our police. Our police have other priorities that they need to focus on.
Okay. And then we have our last item to take a look at here today is the Sawdust District, and looking at adding on-street parking.
The Sawdust District plan had identified some long-term ideas to widen the street as well as making parking available. That seems to be a big need on South Main. Prior to doing that, this is where we'd like to be, our future state, but in the meantime, we took a look at traffic numbers, and we believe we can eliminate 2 lanes of traffic right now and put parking in right away. So we're just going to be starting the conversation. Eventually, we'll need to come back to the council for an ordinance, but the business community in that area wants to do it, and so we want to be able to accommodate them. So that's where that's going, and we'll see how that moves forward in the coming weeks.
Okay. Well, there's a lot happening over in the Sawdust District, so we'll
Absolutely.
keep an eye. All right. Well, thanks, Mark, for being on the show today. We had a lot to go through.
It's always a pleasure, Andy.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, the Common Council meeting is coming up this Tuesday, July 28th, and that will be carried live on GovTV, and that is Channel 10 on Spectrum, Uverse Channel 99, and streaming on the YouTube channel as well as on oshkoshmedia.org. Or you can also listen to it live on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. You can always watch on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV to stream on those devices. And you can also visit our YouTube channel for government meeting archives as well as the full library of Oshkosh media programming. So thanks again for watching the City Manager's Report, and we'll be back again in 2 weeks with another new program. Take care, everyone.